Hey there, it's Sarah, and before we dive into today's episode, I want to invite you into something that could completely change how you feel about your weekends. It's called No More Wasted Weekends. It's a free, alcohol free challenge happening August 29th through September 1st. For 4 days, you'll get live coaching, practical tools, and the community support you need to see what's possible when you don't lose your weekend to hangovers or regret. Imagine waking up on Monday actually proud of yourself, energized, and clear headed. That is what this challenge is about. Sign up now at nomorewasteddays.co/weekend or head to the link in the show notes of this episode. Come join us. Your weekends are too valuable to waste. Welcome to another episode of the No More Wasted Days podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sarah.
I'm Heather.
And today, Heather has a very special topic for us, and I'm going to let her take it away.
All right. So I just want to start by saying that today's episode is for anyone who's ever looked at their life mid-chapter, divorced, raw, sober, and thought, I don't know who I am without that old story. I want to talk about the power of learning to trust yourself again, especially when the ground feels shaky and you're doing it without numbing. So I am choosing to be pretty vulnerable with you all because I think that A, is the right thing to do. B, I cannot be alone in getting a divorce and navigating sobriety, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that divorce is just ending a marriage. I think it can skew your voice. Your voice and your view on life.
Yeah.
And, there's lots of layers of loss, not just a person, but it is a routine. It's an identity. And there's future vision when you are married and then when you are not. And I used a lot of alcohol and it was like my compass. Honestly, it was a false compass and it was how I got my direction, right? Because I would be drunk and make major life decisions, which is not a good idea. And it happens.
Yeah.
Or maybe not make the major life decision right then, but drink over it, good, bad, or indifferent, right? So when you're using something to guide you through those hard feelings and hard emotions, and then you don't have that false compass that is booze, you're able to think more clearly. And it's kind of the old saying that I love about alcohol. Is this good enough to stay the same? Is this relationship good enough to stay the same? Right?
Yeah.
And that's not the easiest thing to feel, think, and it's a very hard decision, right?
Yeah.
And when you don't have anything to fall back on to numb that, I think you're afraid of making the wrong decision because you're fully awake. And for me, I felt like when I started making big decisions sober, I was like, am I getting ready to blow up my whole life? Because, I have a history of doing that. That is a 100% true story. And what do I mean by that? Maybe moving in with someone too soon, moving out from somebody too soon. My sweet daddy used to say, I do love to shack up with people. And he was not wrong. And I didn't know how to be alone. I did not.
Yeah.
And like I'm a serial monogamous, or was like a serial monogamous. So I felt like I was getting ready to blow up my whole life when I started really thinking about this particular decision. And that's just what I was used to. Your brain likes to know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a really good idea to think about that. Like, are you doing this as a reaction, or are you doing this because it is the right thing for you and every single person involved?
Yeah. And can I ask, when you met your past wife, you were a drinker, correct?
Oh, God, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then you quit drinking, but what, probably 3 years before your divorce?
Yep.
Yeah. So there was a good time period there too, where you were sober and in your relationship, and your partner was sober too. So it's like, it was not any of that. I know other people may have those questions too, where it's just like, wait, or even to like, wait, did Heather start drinking again? And then she
No.
wanted it. And it's like, no, that's not what happened at all.
Yeah.
And I got a
Yeah.
definite behind the scenes look of like hearing a little like, I think that this is going to happen, or I'm just thinking this, and just being able to talk through some of it with you. And I know you were talking to many people and definitely trusting your intuition as well,
Yeah.
which is like really scary.
Yeah, it is. It is. And, my ex-wife and I mean, on our first date, we got drunk, and it was a humongous part of our marriage until she quit. And then I quit a little thereafter. So, and I'm internally grateful for her quitting before me and holding that mirror up
Yeah.
to say, like, you don't have to be hungover in the morning. And, I observed more energy and just I mean, my ego wasn't going to say that then. I have shared that since then, that I am really grateful for that. So
Yeah.
I do say, like, and this is hard to admit, I didn't realize how much I second guess myself in life until I figured out that I wasn't going to defer that to anybody. I was going to be exactly where I was with internal validation. And I just did not know how much how like I gaslit myself. And then, then there was no booze to
Yeah.
cope with the fear of, oh, if I might make the right decision, wrong decision. And then there are other people's opinions, right?
Yeah.
So that makes you second guess yourself sometimes if you're not solid in the decision, especially when you have children.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's so many big decisions we have to make as adults. And it's
Hmm.
not even like, I mean, the decision to move, or the decision to start a new job, or the decision to quit a job, or the decision to end a relationship. And oh my, it is so hard to just trust your own intuition. It's so hard to hear your intuition, and especially when you're drinking. And I do feel like when we quit drinking, sometimes it's like, it's hard. I know in AA, they're like, don't make any big life choices, within the first year? And it's like,
6 months.
six
Yeah.
months. Okay. And it's really is like, because I think it is because you're almost on this like hearing your inner voice overload, if that makes
Hmm.
sense, where you're like, oh, I should do this and I should do that. And I mean, that's just who I am as a person. Like, I relate heavily to every meme where they're saying, like, where it's Michael Scott being like, I made this decision this morning and now it's my life. Like, my husband and I just laugh at that all the time. I'm like, this is every hobby where I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm gonna do? And I'll tell him, and he's like,
Yeah.
no.
Yes. Yeah, I understand that. And I can be very much like that. Like when I went on that cleanse, I did it on a Friday and I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm on a new path on the wellness journey. And I made the decision and now I have to wait because I have to get clearance from an MRI, blah, blah, blah. I'm fine. It's just my hip. And I'm like, damn it. Because I'd
You're
already
like,
decided, you
you're
know?
like, I'm doing this thing. I mean, and I know that the things we're comparing it to are not like, they're not moving or ending a relationship or
Hmm.
quitting a job, but I just, we know what type of person we are. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes when we quit drinking, it can be easy to really jump into that person that we are. Like, I'm going in all in. So I'll
Yeah.
let you continue though. But it's just a whole nother interesting topic to discuss.
Absolutely. And, being alcohol free isn't just about being alcohol free to me. It's a reparenting of myself and learning how to self soothe during very high conflict periods, lots of paperwork, legal, it may be loneliness. And I say maybe because I don't get bored and I just I don't know. I'm just not a lonely person. I don't, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to figure out why I have ideas, why I was raised as an only child. I am not an only child. I was the only child that lived with my parents. So I was just like alone a lot. And I don't know. I know how to entertain myself.
Yeah.
Um, well, figured that out because now I'm not shacking up with everybody. And then I figured out like I'm just not lonely. So it's another like way to explore yourself, right? And, to how to stay sober during a divorce taught me a lot. It's the first sober divorce, and sitting with that discomfort instead of running from it is top tier hell and top tier self exploration.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I got married in tennis shoes because I'm a runner. And I don't mean like a marathon runner. I mean, like, I love to run from shit.
Yeah.
And I wore Converse for that reason. And so there's just like the sitting with the discomfort and trying to choose the presence over escape. Now, I didn't want to drink alcohol, but I sure did not want to feel certain ways, right?
Yeah.
I mean, wherever you go, there you are. I mean, I would be like, okay, I'm going to like feel the feels for like 3 minutes, and then I would do something different because, again, like I love to run from things.
I like
And I
that
was
though,
like,
that I'm
yeah,
going to feel it for 3 minutes.
yeah, that feels like a very, very, very long three
Uh,
minutes.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, 3 minutes is really long.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, I'll feel this for 30
Right.
seconds. And
Like,
then,
fuck this
because,
3 minutes.
yeah, because I'm definitely I catch myself a lot being like, I gotta run away. Like I've talked about this on another episode that escape is definitely my preferred method.
Yeah.
And it's hard when
We
you
ought to do
can't.
an escape room, see who in the hell could get out
Oh
first.
God.
It'd probably be both of us. We'd tie.
I will never do an escape room. I always tell my husband, I'm like, if you choose a date night, which he won't, okay, I'm the planner in the relationship. But I was like, never choose an escape room. I'll be so pissed off. It's like, because you have to do all these stupid puzzles. I'd be like, I hate puzzles. That's
Right.
been
Well, I
like,
have ADHD. I'd probably forget. And then I'd be like, can I pay to get out of here?
I'm totally like on the build all the time. He's like, do you have any ideas? And I'm like, no, because I'm thinking about 20 other different things, dude.
Right.
I'm not thinking about how to solve this particular puzzle.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
one thing we've definitely learned about me with doing a house build is I'm not a puzzle person. It's just not me. So no escape room, no thank you. But I do want to get in my car and drive away a lot. I feel a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like there's something about that feeling. Like let's just move, let's just change. When I think about that, it's definitely that's in me somewhere.
Yeah.
So I understand that. It's Sarah, and I wanted to interrupt the episode really quick to remind you to join me for the No More Wasted Weekends Challenge. Remember, this is a free, alcohol-free challenge from August 29th to September 1st. It's for 4 days, and you'll get coaching, tools, and community. Sign up now at nomorewasteddays.co/weekend or head to the link in the show notes. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yeah. And I think the way that you keep coming back to yourself is keeping the promises to yourself again and again and building that trust strategically within yourself, brick by brick. So I think the small ways that I did that, it was not drinking, creating my space. Like I had it decorate. I love to decorate. I've redecorated it, rearranged several times. Being intentional with that helped me trust myself. And I've done a lot of therapy, showing up to my coaching, my therapy, showing up to, some day makers calls. Oh boy. I remember one last year, I was a wreck. I wasn't like crying. I'm not a big crier, and I don't wear that as a badge of honor. I just am not. But I was mad as shit. And I appreciated having a soft place to land and people who were like there, who
Yes.
checked on me after and was like, are you okay? And I've never seen you that way. Like, So,
Yeah. No, I know even from like this year, just having to deal with like Ryan's surgery and then my father-in-law passing away, and I always feel like, oh, with day makers, oh, I'm the leader. So I can't go in there and overshare or, whatever I sometimes think in my brain. But when I choose to be a human with human issues, the compassion and realizing like, oh, this is also a community for me. And I totally understand what you mean because I've showed up for calls this past year very like, oh my gosh, can I do this
I
today?
remember last fall, I showed up to lead a call and I shared my win. And it was, I bet if anybody was new, they were like, wow, okay. But it was a win, and that's how I felt, and it was fine.
Yeah. I think if they were new, they just learned very quick that we're a family
Mm-hmm.
and we show up just as we are, and we love each other just as we are, And
Mm-hmm.
it really is. It's very true. And I don't feel like I haven't been able to do my job. Like if you're listening and you're going, well, I don't want to join this community. No, I've still taken it very seriously, but it's just been, I'm a real human being and so is Heather, with real things happening behind the scenes. And even kind of hearing Heather say this today, it's like, well, nobody really knew this was going on. Well, yeah, there's there's not always stuff we can just talk about out front and right away. And I think too, both of us are very smart in knowing that sometimes you have to figure out how you are navigating this before you can share it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's important too to be in the correct headspace, I think, for like a topic so delicate.
Yeah.
And I do feel like when I showed up for the hard moments without drinking, I didn't always feel strong, but I felt real. That
Mhm.
really is enough.
Yeah. I think
So,
that that's huge, but you felt real. I
oh yeah,
understand that.
yeah. And, rebuilding self trust from the ground up is learning how to trust your instincts in parenting, in dating or not dating, in home choices, where you choose to live, what you choose to dream about for the future, how you choose to just navigate all of your choices and trusting your instincts. And just the feeling or even the mantra that I don't need someone to validate this decision to believe it's right. And accepting that sometimes trust is quiet, like getting through a Tuesday without extremely strong emotions or a craving. Now, I didn't crave alcohol, but I did crave the escape from it. And I guess it's like an emotional craving because I wanted to say the thing. And I'm like, don't say the thing. HP, don't say the thing. So it's been like a reclaiming of my voice, my space, and my timing.
Yeah. And you get to think about too, like you've been through kind of the rebirth of you as a non-drinker, then rebirth we just talked about in the last episode too, like pre-cancer, post-cancer, and now there's a whole nother rebirth, like Heather is a non-serial monogamist.
Yes.
I love when
I'm
you
in,
said I used to be a serial
I'm
monogamist, like you
right.
corrected yourself really quick at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, to me, I think it's important to share, and I do not think I'm special. I mean, I'm pretty cool, I guess, but like, I don't think I'm really special from anybody else. But you can do really hard things and not drink.
Yes. And you can get to the point where you've been on this journey where you weren't craving it. Like
Hmm.
alcohol was not even a thought during all of this and navigating these hard times. So I think that's a really cool thing for people to see that are early, because it's one thing to see people pointing towards on TikToks. I'm talking about myself and being like, yay, look at all the positive things that happen when you quit drinking, which are totally true. I totally stand by all the positive things. But sometimes I think it's a lot more powerful to see somebody go through really hard stuff without drinking, just so you can go, oh, if they can do it, so can I. Because those are the things we freak out about. Like those, I will think sometimes, what am I going to do if Ryan dies? Am I going to drink? I don't think he has any plans to die. It's just like, and I will go down a rabbit hole. I will spiral. And I have to sometimes be like, just, you know what? You're going to do this day without alcohol, and then you can do the next day without alcohol. And
Hmm.
I think it's very cool I think it's cool that you're putting yourself out here and sharing this, because I think it shows people that you can do really hard things without alcohol.
Yeah. And some people like to tell you, like, oh, you will drink again. You will have a transfer addiction. You will, blah, blah, blah. And, those things are hard to hear, and they're just not true.
Yeah, that does not have to be your story. I decided that super early in my journey when people were like, "Oh, everybody always goes back to drinking." I was like, "I'm not going to let that be my story."
No.
And I'll tell myself too sometimes like, "Well, you don't get to decide that. You can't decide 20 years from now." And I'm like, "You know what? It's not my story today." And I
Yeah.
think that that's really powerful.
Yeah. And, like building a lot of resilience, like, and hearing the stories are like, oh, I can do that too. Or, wow, I can't do that. And I do want to say that you can.
Mhm.
And I will say, and I normally don't like to say this, and it's a case where if I can, you can too.
Yeah,
I
I
used to
know.
drink a lot, and, you know, like, it was very, very, very hard for me to quit drinking.
Yeah.
It was very hard to stay sober while fighting breast cancer. And the divorce that it never crossed my mind ever to drink. There had been enough resilience built in some ways that are not so fantastic. That's how we usually get to a good resilience.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think about it. I thought very, very, very little about it, even though people love to tell you what you will and you will not do,
Mm-hmm.
because they're basically projecting how they're experiencing, or how they
Yeah.
would experience or their, like, I don't know, their own crap.
Yeah, no, it truly is that. When people are saying those things, I think that it is like they're just saying what happened to them, and they want to be
Hmm.
like, well, it's going to happen to you too, and it doesn't have to. Everything can be. And I think that your story is huge for people to be like, oh, I can go through this without alcohol. And if Heather can do it, so can you. And I know that that's a really cliche saying, and I
Hmm.
say it all the time because I saw other people quitting drinking. I saw other people doing hard things without alcohol. And I really did think if they can do it, I can do it. They're no different
Hmm.
than me. Like, obviously, everybody's their own unique being, but we all think we're so unique in our drinking story. And when
Yeah.
you start talking to more and more people, you start going, oh my gosh, we're all so similar. And if all these other people can do it, so can you.
Yeah.
And I know it's cliche, but it's true.
It is true. And if you're divorced and sober, or considering either, you're not broken, you're becoming. This is the part where you come home to yourself, your intuition gets louder, and where you realize you were always capable. You just needed a chance to hear yourself clearly. And now you can.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And I talk about the intuition thing a lot. You do too. You can finally hear what you're thinking when you quit drinking.
Hmm.
It's what a gift.
All right. So I want y'all to think about one small decision that you've made recently that helped you trust yourself a little bit more.
Yeah. And it does not have to be a huge thing,
Right.
but just what's one thing where you were able to I like that challenge. What's one thing where you were able to trust yourself a little bit more? Maybe it was your choice to quit drinking.
Hmm. The
And then you
choice to
can
listen to a sober podcast on the way home from work.
yeah, it can be that small and that big of a change.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this. I knew it was a long time coming. Like I was
Yeah.
like, I know Heather will be able to share when she can. And I know it's going to resonate with so many people. And if you guys I like want more episodes like this where we do talk about some of our life experiences and bring it around to relate it to our alcohol-free journey, let us know in the comments of Spotify or YouTube. You can comment there, or you can even tell us in a rating. Like, we're going to see it
Yeah.
that way. So,
Yeah.
if you ever want to communicate with us, those are great ways to do it because I know people will be like, oh, or, hit us up in our DMs. I always link our socials in the show notes. And Heather has a new social media platform. Well, not a new social media platform. You have a new page that you're starting. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's TikTok and Instagram at with Heather P.
yeah. And I have started linking. I've been linking it now for a little while, but I just want you guys to know so you can go follow her there and watch all of her content that she creates there. Because I know that a lot of people probably resonated with this and are like, oh my gosh. And a lot of people are probably real tired of hearing me talk about quitting
Yeah.
drinking with my husband and it being a different situation. They're like, that bitch. No.
No, I think it's really cool y'all could quit together and stay that.
Yeah, I think it's cool to have both sides, and that's what I enjoy that about having the two sides here for everybody to hear. And then
Yeah.
I know everybody can relate when they're on their journey. And it's also a cool
Right.
thing if you are like, I need more like this where I can relate with other people, then check out the Daymakers. That's where you can connect with so many people. I love that because when somebody's struggling with like, oh, I'm going on vacation for the first time without alcohol, then I can tag someone in the group that I know has been on like 3 vacations recently without alcohol and say, hey, will you share your stories about this or share some pictures or da da da? Like, It's a really cool thing where you can connect with other people. So check out that link for the Daymakers. Check out the link for one-on-one coaching with Heather, where she can help you start to hear your intuition, start to hear your inner voice, and really start to trust it.
Yeah. Check it out, and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.